I'm sure everybody has their own preferred style, but I just like those little half cranks. Oh, dude, I just tossed it in the water. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video where we are going to be getting out and about today and fishing with our boy FDJ, testing out the brand new Tiny Klash collab with Working Class Zero. Not brand new Tiny Klash. Tiny Klash has been around for a while. But today we're going to be fishing this Tiny Klash, and I'm going to be doing some, or kind of just showing you guys the modifications that I've done to my particular Tiny Klash. Real quick, first thing I will talk about is the TK Hooks. Very, very cool brand, very, very unique design once again, but the hooks are absolute garbage. I've lost quite a few fish on my original Working Class Zero TK. I picked this up probably about half a year ago. I've been fishing it for a while, and I've lost a ton of fish just due to the sharpness of the hooks and the strength of their hooks. I actually had one bend on me on like an oversized fish, probably like a 5-pounder or something like that. I would never know because I didn't land it. So I'm going to show you real quick the actual hooks that I upgraded my TK with is going to be these Owner STX #2 hooks. They are going to be more of a wire design, so it's going to be very sharp, but they are going to be fortified. I have only been using them for probably about a month now, and I will recommend these. I will leave a link below in my description so you guys can get on there, take a look at them. Another thing that I will talk about, let me get my TK real quick. So just to show you guys my TK real quick so you get a better idea, this is mine. I've been tossing it for a while. Once again, you got those hooks swapped out. We have a fluorescent orange tracer on there from Rash Tracers. It makes it very easy to see this bait as it gets subsurface. And then on top of the hooks and the tracers, the most important thing that I have found that you need to add to these TKs or just most swim baits in general is either going to be a swivel, like an actual little swivel that you put on there. You can put a swivel clip. You can put an actual little eyelet swivel or an eyelet little ring on there. That's actually what I have on mine. Just because it stays, you know, there no matter what, it doesn't bend, and it just it creates a more organic and a more exaggerated movement through the water with this bait. You will see when we get out there and test it out. I just wanted to go ahead and go over those 3 upgrades that I have done to my TK so you guys can have a better understanding of how it's working for me and why it's working for me. So let's get out there in the water and show you guys what it's all about. All right, it is rainy, it is nasty. We are out here with our boy Fishing Dad Jimmy, and we are gonna start trying to get back at these big bass. Throwing that DRT.
So up or down?
I like mine downward, I think.
Down?
I can't remember, but it's always, I've never changed it. So it pushes downward, so it pushes the tail down. Hold on, let me just get it up and show you. So if you have the tail like this, the water pushes the tail up, so it keeps the bait up. If you have, and if you have the tail like with V's, the water gets over the tail and keeps it down a little bit. So you get a little subsurface action. There's a bass over there. Here we go. Oop. Almost got branched. Did you see that? I fished this bridge. Good chance that there's a bass hanging out in the deep over here. All these pillars. A lot of bait fish, I'm sure, hanging out in between them as well. And that's what we're trying to imitate, like a sporadic bluegill, sporadic baby bass, and just dying out makes it look like an easy target for these big bass. They can't resist it, man. It's not the big boy we were wanting, but it's not a bad one either. Look at that. Solid TK fish, guys. Came up, hit it last second. Gotta love it. In the rain, man, they don't play. They come after it. All right, guys, first TK fish of the day. Probably a little 3-pounder or something like that. It's got a nice belly, but just get him back in the water. See you, buddy. Hell yeah, that was awesome.
Go, dude.
All right, guys, we've got down to another little portion of the pond. We got a nice little shallow up here, a lot of grass and rocks. Might be able to see it, and then it comes down to a little bit of deep water. Same on the other side, it's got a little island almost. So I'm gonna try to start tossing at the island and then come off the island, seeing if there's anything that'll strike it in between in the depths. That's how I get a lot of my strikes, working from the shallows into the deep. Oh, You gotta give him time. Jimmy just had his first bite ever on his DRT. Super sick. Congrats to our boy over there. Hopefully he can get himself actually one in. Actually let go. He said he didn't realize he had it, so he's learning how to use it. It's fun, man. Oh, Jimmy's on one. Jimmy's on one. Flip him, flip him. Dude, that's a tank. Oh man, it wasn't recording. All right, Jimmy just had his first fish, guys. Helping him get it back in the water. If you want to see what it looked like, see that action, see that release, make sure you go check out his channel. I'll leave a link below. All right, guys, just pulled up to spot number 2. This is a very, very urban location. Haven't been out here in a while. Holy crap, one of the rocks got pushed all the way out, dude. That used to be over there at the waterfall. Not over here. Oh, dude, big. Working that deep, bro. Yes. TK, right in the center. I paused it and let it float up and then started working it again. And he came out of nowhere and smoked it, bro. All right, guys, second TK fish of the day. Looking for those urban giants. Have yet to find one. Bigger than probably 3 pounds, but another solid one on the TK. Doesn't get better than that. Solid fish. Once again on the TK. Get him back in. There she goes. He goes.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let's go, baby. Come on! Come on! It's number 3 for the day on the TK. Where are the big boys though? I'm just showing you guys some real easy techniques how to use your DRT. I am using it with no bill with the tail flipped upwards, so water is propelled over the tail and pushes it down slightly. These are floating baits, so they are going to rise up if you allow them to have the time. If you have the tail upside down, it'll allow it to just wake on top. Once you put the bill, it allows it to pull down. So you can kind of find a good in-between, whatever you like. I prefer this style, but what I do, toss it out there, give it a few twitches sometimes. You can see it starts moving back and forth pretty sporadic, get that deep dive. That's what the twitches help do. And then I just kind of do some reels, little half reels. That helps, you know, just get that wake back and forth. So once again, guys, showing you guys my style, no bill, and then we got the tail with the slot going upwards, so it propels water down. If you have it the other way, basically it pushes the water upwards and keeps the tail floating up, keeps the bait on top. So you can kind of mess around, add the bill to it. With the tail down, you'll go a little bit deeper, add the tail up, it'll go a little bit higher. So you can definitely mess around with it, try something you like. This is just what I prefer. I fish a lot of structure and a lot of ponds, so this is just how I would use it. Lake fishing, you might want to go a little bit deeper in the water and stuff like that, so you might want to add that bill and maybe just fish this very similar style. A little twitching, get it moving like crazy, you see? One technique that I've figured out that's pretty good, to be honest, get a lot of slack in your line, and you can kind of almost make it turn around sometimes. If you get a chaser, just like that. If you get a chaser, get some slack in your line and pop it hard, you might just get that reaction strike when it turns around and looks at them. Really, really cool and unique bait. Tons of ways to use it. You know, definitely find a way that you prefer. My method's not going to be any better than anyone else's. I'm sure everybody has their own preferred style, but I just like those little half cranks. Oh, dude, I just tossed it in the water. My line's like very frayed, bro. I'm nervous. That's not a dink, bro. I just pitched it like messing around, trying to show how to use this lure. Once again, use the method you prefer. This one works for me. As you can see, I like to pitch it and just kind of work it weird. And dude, solid bass, probably about a 2-3 pounder, comes out of nowhere and smokes it. But you can see they're fighting for spots right here, fighting with fish. So that's a big reason why they're probably coming after the TK. Let's get them back in the water though. So once again, guys, my reeling method, just kind of add that twitch and crank depending on where you're at. Once again, I like to get it under the water real quick and then start slow cranking, really getting those bites going. But I mean, you saw I tossed it right out there. That thing didn't even wait, it just came up and smacked it. So sometimes these fish, they just react as soon as it hits the water. You can kind of slow it down too. I've worked it real slow before and gotten smacked. That real slow twitch like that back and forth. The only real way to get that twitch though is adding that lip piece. Makes it real sporadic, frees up the line, full rotation. All right guys, everyone, just so you have a good example of the difference having that little lip, little latch on there, Jimmy's gonna toss his real quick and show you what it looks like. Just kind of give me a little toss. See, there's some good movement in it, but it's not as wide of a turn, right? Real slow, real easy. With mine, you can kind of get it out there, and even fast, you get really wide turns, super wide turns. If you go slow, you almost go all the way around. So big difference when you add this, just this little swivel. And you don't have to add a little swivel like this. You can add a little latch, you can add different styles, but this is just what I prefer because it's gonna stay on, it's not gonna cause any harm. Same bait, completely different movement. Completely different look too.